Welcome to this playthrough of Auburn Crown. It's turn 3 and we'll go to the replay and see how it... So it looks like Draka will continue his attack. Now I think he's using that those giant eagles and rocks and so forth, the strategic bombers that you find in Strategic Command, to actually view where my units are before he sends in Draka to take them out. So I'm going to have to try to hide some of them a bit. Over here in the ancient lands, things are looking a little bit dire as well. The giants of Maelstrom have joined me. Information that we've got quite a bit in that turn, because when Water's Bend falls, it triggers a lot of things. Now we'll have a look at this. The Dreadworm has sent a message through one of our own scouts that he's found, and he's sending a challenge as Lord Ullavan tells me about what's going on in Water's Bend. That doesn't look like Draka is going any further. This messenger comes in and says you either attack and die or leave and live. It's a challenge to me. Now of course it's a challenge, and I'm not going to lower myself to such standards. I will of course continue to try to get back my birthright, the city of Water's Bend, and the being heir to the throne. Now I need to shuffle units around until Big Wolf joins me, the elves there. I've only got a very narrow sort of front to work with. That works in my favor in some respects, but it's also a negative. So I anticipate, unless I'm wrong, he might be choosing not to build the tunnel. I imagine that the tunnel will open fairly soon, so I need to reinforce some of these units down here. I'll get their technology up first, because if they rush through and end their turn adjacent to my units, I'm not going to be able to upgrade them, so I'll do it while I can. Being adjacent doesn't stop me from reinforcing them, so that's why I choose that order. Of course, it leaves them a little bit weak, so if they do rush through and are strong enough to wipe me out, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Now the giants have joined me, but I have used all of my gold pieces, so I don't have enough. And that teleport there is a little bit of a problem, because it seems to have a bit of a bug. I was able to teleport an elite unit, and then I'm supposed to be able to go through the teleporter, so I'll need to fix that at some stage. As I was saying, the giants have joined me, so that's going to help a bit, but they're only one unit, at least on land. So I'm really quite concerned about this attack in the ancient lands, because my defenders barely scratched his attackers, and I'd spent quite a bit of money in upgrading them, so that seems to be a bit of a waste of money. So anyway, I'm going to be very interested to see how quickly he's able to, how far he's able to move west towards my capitals, and how quickly Imhotep will join in that attack from the south, because if they do, I will be in quite a bit of trouble. Over to Malkan now, and continuing to move north. It's quite possible that he'll do a similar thing once he's put his troops in place with the defenders of Malkan as well. So I'm taking a risk in moving all of my units to the north, because if he appears in the north in force, then all I've got is a few garrisons. I'm going to have to reposition things very, very quickly. Alright, so they're done. Now the Tribal League, not much I can do with them. I'll move the ships up, because eventually I want them to go out raiding against the trade routes of Potentia and Andania. Alright, looking at the map now. And we can see again that in the early stages there's not a lot of things that need to be done, but I am very concerned about this. So I need to be on my lookout for that. Alright, just ending the turn now. Have a look at the gold pieces, but before that, excuse me, recall veterans or approach Big Wolf. And if I get the veterans, they'll appear around about here, which might just be enough for the Dreadworm to take them out. So I don't want that to happen. I don't care if he takes out garrisons, but I don't want him to take out veteran units. So I don't want to put in a veteran unit, have him blow it up, and then not be able to reinforce them. So I'm going to approach Big Wolf and see if I can get some assistance from them to attack the Dreadworm from the south. It's going to cost me 60 gold pieces, and it will move them a reasonable amount. So they sympathise with me, yeah. And now the king is going to be pressured to give 50 gold pieces a turn for 10 turns to me, as in Angnord. And normally I would, well, not normally, but often I will say no to that, because Angnord should be strong enough to hold its own, and those 50 gold pieces are quite useful for Angford. However, in this case, I am quite concerned that I'm going to need the 50 in the north, so I'm going to say yes to this offer. It's going to mean that Angford is going to have a lot less gold to play around with, but better to survive and fight another day than to die early. Okay, so that's the end of the turn, and I say thank you for watching and see you next time.